Am I a hole for refusing to stay home with the kids while my husband attends my brother's wedding? Am I a hole for not allowing a friend to move in with me? I'm Miss Tam, and my husband works full time. We have three kids, and one of them is 2 years old. My husband helps a lot with the kids. He's a committed dad, but is absolutely against babysitter due to an awful incident with a babysitter that was the reason his younger male cousin James got disabled years ago. I don't go out much since I have to take the kids with me, and not every place is suitable for kids. We received an invitation from my brothers, who has been my husband's friend since college, wedding which we later discovered was child-free. My brother lives states away, so the entire trip will take 4 days, as well as my brother's in-laws' weekend dinner party, their tradition. I told my husband I want to go since it's been a while since I've been to a wedding and this one is special, and suggested we got a trusted friend as a babysitter. He asked if I was serious to consider leaving our 2-year-old with the babysitter and suggested that I do what I normally do and stay home with the kids while he goes to the wedding. I refused and said I have as much a right to attend as him since we both were invited. He said it wasn't his fault. My brother wants a child-free wedding and I should do this for the kids and sacrifice for their sake. I still refused and said this was unfair, and since he's a parent too, then he should also stay for the kids. He looked at me and said, "That's my best friend's wedding. You're asking me to skip for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me?" Then I said I was being petty for suggesting this, and that I was basically choosing to go and party over keeping our kids safe. He asked me to consider this is a business trip. What would I do? Go with him and leave the kids? He said, "I understand his paranoia of babysitters, but really all my friends have sitters, and at times they really need it." He said I ought to know better than what my friends tell me, and this wasn't even up for discussion. And when I kept arguing, he called me selfish and said he won't let me ruin his relationship with his friend because I was being spiteful for not being able to attend, and that my brother will understand my situation. He keeps asking who's more important, a wedding party or my kids? And I said I was unreasonable for making my attendance to hill to die on. Am I a hole? Am I being selfish for wanting to attend this wedding, my brother's wedding, after 4 years and not attending anything?
I have a hard time to believe your husband is a good dad. Every single sentence from him smells like entitlement and selfishness. If you can't go to your brother's wedding, so can't he? Why doesn't he stay at home and you attend? Since this never came to his mind, he thinks less of you and your needs. You are the servant for the children, not his wife who is on the same level. This wedding shows you what kind of person your husband is and what he thinks of you. Nta 100%. I know 2 women who were stay-at-home parents whose husbands tried to screw them out of seeing their children because he was the one who can afford a lawyer. One did get fucked out of visitation and the other one didn't, only because her friends came together and helped her pay her bills until her lawyer could get her spousal support and child support. It is not easy for stay-at-home moms to leave and get the kids, no matter what guys on this website say. I got married to my daughter's dad and wished I never did. I was a psalm and his family was loaded. The relationship was almost platonic after we had her. It was dead 3 months on, but I was young and dumb and didn't know I deserved more. When we split, his dad got his lawyer he had on retainer and spent 5 figures. I was not represented at all. Fast forward, she lives there most the time because he had his parents' money to throw at her for gifts constantly. She wants to be where all her stuff is, so I don't see her often. I ended up going back to school to make life for my kids better, but joke's on me, I chose a profession that's underpaid. I work in mental health and get paid less than fast food and have a BA. I still don't have a home of my own. I wish I would have never been a psalm. I lost out on years of time with them working and studying, and I hate that, but I couldn't offer them anything and was always broke. When my ex-husband left me for his mistress, I was a psalm to 2 children, 4-year-old and 10 months old. We decided when I got pregnant with our first that I would resign from my job and stay home. At the time he left, I hadn't worked in 5 years and was financially dependent on him. My ex tried to control everything I did, thinking that since he controlled the purse strings, he controlled everything. I got a good attorney and ended up getting alimony, child support, legal fees and 60% of all our assets. The judge said he had no consideration for a man who would leave his wife and children under these circumstances, and that's why he gave me 60% instead of 50%. Cue surprised Pikachu face from my ex. He got surprised Pikachu face again a year later, when his mistress left him for the other married man she had been cheating with. Lol. In this same vein, not defending either side, but I would rank OP's husband at this point on the same trust level as how husband sees the babysitters. From the implications in this post based on OP saying she hasn't been out in 4 years, I would imagine that he doesn't have a frog's eye in hell how to care for children either, and is scared to death he might cause one of them to be disabled. I think OP's husband might need some therapy, not just because he's acting like an entitled and treating OP like a servant, but because I don't think he trusts himself even with the kids.
Second story. I'm on a hole for not allowing a friend to move in with me. I, 19 female, come from a wealthy family. Even so, I had a job since I turned 16. My parents got me a car, but I had to pay for my own insurance and gas. I had a limit for how much my birthday and Christmas gifts cost. When I graduated high school and was accepted into a good college, my parents gave me a choice. I live in the dorms. They pay for everything. I get just a bit of spending money, but they won't have a say in my life at all since I am an adult. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment they own in the city. Doorman, gym, pool, and cleaning service. They pay for everything, and I have more spending money. In exchange, I have to promise to keep a high GPA. No recreational drug use, no alcohol until I turn 21, and to not have any roommates. Then when I am a junior, the deed to the apartment transfers to my name. I accepted the second choice and it has been great. I am an introvert, so I appreciate my space. The problem is that a friend I made in the beginning of the semester wanted to move in and I declined. She comes from a middle-class family, paying for her school using student loans, just normal. The first time she was over, she started making some tasteless remarks. Must be nice to never work a day in our life. Must be nice to have mommy and daddy wait on you hand and foot. When she wouldn't stop, I just started distancing myself from her. He has been having problems with her roommates from the get-go. But yesterday, she just couldn't take it anymore. She asked me in front of all our friend group if she could move in with me. So I said no, she can't. She called me an entitled and trust fund baby who didn't know what the normal man struggles are and stormed off. Now all my friends say that I am the a-hole, that I have the space and it wouldn't cost me anything. I could just lie to my parents and they wouldn't know. I disagree, but I thought better to ask because if they don't give it a rest, I am planning to cut all of them. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
NTA, she is vastly entitled to assume that you owe it to her. It seems like her premise was that you host her in your apartment. Refusal wasn't a feasible option and that is why it blindsided her. That's audacious. She can't possibly expect you to jeopardize your relationship with your parents and the privileges they give you because she doesn't get along with her roommates. It seems like she accumulated a lot of envy to you and she revealed it now. She can't possibly expect you to jeopardize your relationship with your parents and the privileges they give you because she doesn't get along with her roommates. It seems like she accumulated a lot of envy for you and she revealed it now. Absolutely. My friend group is pretty diverse. Some of us grew up super poor, some middle class, and one of my friends grew up pretty affluent. We're very close because we recognize our own privileges and support each other. When one of my friends couldn't afford to pay his electricity and Wi-Fi because his mom stole his money and ruined his credit, my other friend gave him a key to her place so he could come over and study. Good friends don't wish harm upon others or are jealous and spiteful because of your privilege. They are happy that you can do well and are taken care of. As long as you are not rubbing it in other people's face, there's nothing wrong with being lucky to have that situation that Op is in. I will be so happy for my friend to have an opportunity like that when other people struggle. OP, you deserve better friends who don't belittle you or feel entitled to what you have. Even if she genuinely does have a shitty roommate, it doesn't entitle her to move in. I've had so many trash roommates, including one who put her cat's litter box under my desk because it kept shitting there, and yet it was no one else's responsibility to take care of. I actually did have a friend offer to move me in with a litter box situation, and I took them up on it, but it blew my mind because I literally didn't even consider that to be an option. You just buck up and deal with it until you can get out. I had a roommate who let people sleep in my bed when I was gone. Finding a weave in my bed and my sheets messed up multiple times ticked me off. I was stuck dealing with it until a few friends mentioned that their roommate graduated and they didn't want a random to be assigned. The next time I had a bad roommate, I had to force the issue to get them kicked out. It's easy for the friends to ask. They're not the ones who will, literally, pay for it, and they want the noise from the other whack job to stop. And they probably don't have the perspective to understand how big an ask it really is. It's not like hiding a hamster from the landlord. A human leaves a pretty big footprint. And this human has already showed she has big old clown shoes. Trust is harder to get back once it's broken. If you feel so strongly about it, ask your parents' permission. If they say no, you can tell your friends your parents won't allow it. If they say yes, the decision is up to you. Speaking as a fellow introvert, having roommates in college was a nightmare for me. I needed my space for my own mental health. Additionally, friends don't always make good roommates. Don't do harm to yourself because you want to be helpful.